Mm-hmm.
So if you want to introduce yourself.
So my name is Myra, and I'm from Holland, and we are in Baldissero Torinese right now. And I'm about to start a bicycle adventure with this very big bicycle towards Germany to uh, pick up plastic that I find along the way. So that's very short.
Um, do you know what is MAB UNESCO?
UNESCO, yes, but MOB, maybe not.
Okay, is a program by UNESCO that promotes the sustainable and rational use of sources of biosphere and in a way that humans' needs do not affect the biosphere itself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that Baldissero is part of biosphere reserve?
Oh, I did not.
Is part of the reserve of biosphere of Collinabo since 2016. We want to present the activity that you're doing and explaining why you decided to do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'll explain.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the reason why I'm doing this is because in the last couple of years I've been on a couple of bike trips through Europe. And one thing that I always found very irritating and appalling almost is the huge amount of plastic that's everywhere along the road, thrown there by people, tourists, cyclists, people in cars. And so I wanted to do something about that. And so I thought, why not use my bicycle to do this and to raise more awareness to people about the huge problem of.
And why have you chosen Baldissero as the town to do this activity?
I chose Baldissero because initially I thought of being in Torino because Torino is bigger, but I wanted a more quiet place to prepare properly, and I wanted a place that was in the hills to train my legs.
Okay. And with which means of transport have you arrived here?
The bicycle.
And did you meet any difficulties during the travel?
Well, with this weather, the hot weather and the uphill part here, it's sometimes very tiring to cycle uphill, and so I'd say that the main difficulty is the heat and the climbs, and sometimes the roads. Like the roads can sometimes be a bit bad quality.
And is this the first time you travel and do something like this?
With the plastic, yes. So I've done 2 bicycle trips before. One in 2016, which was like 4 months in half of Europe basically, and then last summer only in the Balkan. But this is the very first time I'm doing the plastic pickup part.
And before dedicating yourself to this activity, what job did you do?
I lived in Florence, and I worked for an American university as academic coordinator.
What do you think about this initiative organized to save the environment as Fridays for Future or plastic free?
I can only applaud all these initiatives, of course, and I think it's very good that more and more initiatives are being created because it's really a big problem, and people finally are becoming a little bit more aware of this issue.
And how did you come up with the idea to create box for rubbish on the bike?
Yeah, so that was the thing. The moment that I came up with the idea to collect plastic, the next question was, but how am I going to collect and put all the plastic on the bike? Because I was used to have a bike just with the normal front wheel and the back wheel. And I thought, like, I don't have any space on the bike. So a friend of a friend in Florence makes these bicycles, the cargo bicycles, and he suggested that I use one of his bicycles. And then I thought, okay, then I'll have the plastic in the front when I collect it. So that's yeah, convenient also because I'll have this to pick it up with. So I think it's going to work. The only problem is that probably the box is going to fill up rather quickly, so I'll have to also get rid of the plastic a couple of times a day probably.
And what actions do you encourage teenagers to do to safeguard the environment?
Well, I'd say the main message is not to use disposable plastics, or yeah, as little as possible, because like recycling plastic is, of course, it's also a small solution, but only like 10%, maximum 10% of all the plastics are being recycled. So the main message and the main thing you can do is to not use plastic water bottles, for example, to maybe go to like use solid shampoos instead of the plastic ones, and so really reduce the amount of disposable plastics that we use.
Okay.